From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day, this is Dateline Malacañang, and here are the news. On the top story, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. inaugurates the Balbalungaw Small Reservoir Irrigation Project, or the BSRIP, in a ceremony at Barangay San Isidro in Lupao, Nueva Ecija. The BSRIP, boasting an expensive 840-hectare service area, is poised to catalyze transformative changes in the municipality of Lupao. It is designed to foster sustainable development for the benefit of 562 farmers and their families residing in barangays Balbalungaw, San Isidro, Salvacion, Santo Niño, and Mapampang. In a remarkable feat, the National Irrigation Administration, or NIA, granted approval for the construction of the 893 million pesos Balbalungaw Earth-Filled Dam in July 2020, even amidst the challenges posed by the prevailing COVID-19 pandemic. Present during the event are Department of Agriculture, or DA Secretary Francisco Chu Laurel Jr., NIA Administrator Eduardo Eddie Guillen, Nueva Ecija Governor Aurelio Umali, and Lupao Mayor Alex Romel Romano, among other notable attendees. Here is Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
On this very important day, we inaugurate the Balbalungaw Small Reservoir Irrigation Project here in Lupao, Nueva Ecija. This is part of the continued efforts of the Department of Agriculture and the NIA to boost rice productivity in Nueva Ecija, which has now become the rice bowl of the Philippines. It shows this administration's steadfast commitment to develop modern infrastructure systems that will enhance our agriculture sector. Once fully operational, this multipurpose dam will provide irrigation for close to 1,000 hectares of agricultural land in Barangay San Isidro, Balbalungaw, Salvacion, Mapangpang, here in Lupao, benefiting about 560 farmers and their families. The dam will generate diversified income opportunities through increased crop yields, fish culture, tourism, and watershed management for environmental protection. It will likewise facilitate hydroelectric power generation and serve as a flood control mitigation infrastructure for the communities along the river for years to come. I enjoin all government agencies, local government units, and the private sector to coordinate towards securing the sustainability of water resources and the ecosystem that surrounds the reservoir. That the integrated watershed management plan serve as your guide in monitoring, protecting, and conserving the Balbalungaw watershed to prolong the dam's service lifespan. I also call upon the NIA and the Department of Agriculture to make sure that there is timely completion of the other facilities of the project, such as its hydropower, its watershed components, so that communities will be able to fully enjoy the benefits of the project. Anticipating the success of the BSRIP in transforming the province's lands into thriving hubs of productivity, we remain steadfast in our pursuit of food security, poverty reduction, and economic growth. As of December 2022, our nation has made significant strides, over 2.1 million hectares of our irrigable land, a testament to our relentless dedication to increase our irrigable lands around the country, to increase the production of our food products, to make sure that we have a secure food supply for our countrymen. We have generated around 25,000 hectares of new irrigation areas and restored nearly 9,000 hectares of irrigable land. We aim to establish more than 275,000 hectares of new irrigation areas to restore around 80,000 hectares of existing irrigation areas by 2028. On another note, I wish to emphasize that this project will also help address the effects of El Nino. We must be prepared to counter its effects, which may last until the second quarter of 2024. So we remind once again the DA and the NIA to immediately complete the construction of irrigation facilities as well as other supporting structures based on the needs of our farmers. We just had a briefing yesterday, kasama natin ang ating DA Secretary, kasama natin ang ating NIA Administrator, kahapon at yung mga iba't ibang departamento tungkol nga sa parating na tagtuyot sa darating na taon. At magsisimula ito, mararamdaman natin, ngayon nga mapatigil-tigil na yung ulan. At pag-umpisa na siguro ng Enero, ay hindi na masyadong uulan na talaga. Kaya't kailangan nating gawin ang lahat ng kaya nating gawin para tayo yung makapaghanda para sa ating magiging tagtuyot na baka umabot ng second quarter. Kaya't itong ganitong klaseng proyekto ay naging mas mahalaga pa at naging mas urgent pa. Kaya dahil kakaunti na lang ang ating natitirang panahon, binibilang ko, nasa helicopter ako, iniisip ko yung mga project na gagawin natin. Meron tayong 4 na buwan para tapusin lahat yan, maging operational na lahat yan. Dahil ang ginawa kong deadline para sa ating mga departamento ay kako sa kanila, ang isipin natin, ano ba yung kaya nating matapos by April of next year. Nang sa ganon, pag Mayo, ay nandiyan pa yung tagtuyot at hindi pa umuulan, ay meron naman tayong sapat na water supply, unang-una. Kasama na rin dyan, alam naman natin, kapag mababa ang tubig, nagkakaproblema sa kuryente, at maraming nagkakasakit dahil sa init. Kaya ang mga ospital ay kailangan natin paghandaan din, tiyakin natin na meron silang power supply, meron silang water supply, at lalo na sa malalaking syudad ay kailangan tiyakin natin na yung drinking water, hindi lamang yung drinking water, pero lahat ng tubig na hindi lang yung potable water, kung hindi lahat ng tubig na ginagamit, kailangan din natin tiyakin na kahit papano yung ating mga kababayan ay meron naman makukuhang tubig. At kaya yan ay naging napaka-importante, naging urgent nga itong sitwasyon na ito. Kaya nakakatuwa naman na makita natin na nabubuo na nating dahan-dahan ang ating mga proyekto upang bigyan, number 1, bigyan ng sapat na patubig ang malalaking ektarya na sinasaka ng ating mga farmers, at bukod pa doon ay makapagbigay ng water supply kahit na hindi tayo nauulanan, kahit medyo mainit ang panahon at nasa gitna tayo ng El Nino. So as we envision a more secure, sustainable, and resilient Philippines, let us harmonize our efforts to ensure the continued empowerment of our producers, progress for our industries, and advancement for the entire country. Sa ating mga magsasaka at mga mangingisda, ang inyo pong tulong sa pagpapaunlad ng agrikultura at ekonomiya ng bansa ay kailangan upang makamit natin ang bagong Pilipinas na ating pinapangarap. Umaasa akong patuloy kayong magiging kaagapay ng gobyerno sa pagbibigay ng mas masigla, maunlad at masaganang kinabukasan para sa bawat Pilipino. Mabuhay po kayong lahat, mabuhay ang lalawigan ng Nueva Ecija. Muli, maraming salamat, magandang araw po sa inyo, at Merry Christmas na rin and Happy New Year.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Tuesday emphasized the importance of capacitating Filipino women as he acknowledged their indispensable role in the vital task of nation building. During the oath-taking of the newly elected National Executive Board and regional presidents of the Lady Local Legislators League of the Philippines Incorporated, or 4LPhil, President Marcos said it is crucial to create a conducive and nurturing environment for women. The president admitted that much remains to be done when it comes to giving opportunities to women, considering that some of them are being excluded from certain sectors of the economy and society. He, however, noted that the case in the Philippines is changing very much, as it is doing a good job in recognizing Filipino women as the supreme asset of the country. He also called on the 4LPhil to embrace its commitment to conduct fair and gender-responsive programs in their respective localities. He also encouraged the all-women organization to work with his administration in closing the country's gender parity to improve the Philippines' ranking in the Global Gender Gap Index of the World Economic Forum, or WEF. President Marcos said, the Philippines has ranked 16th among 146 countries in the WEF's 2023 Global Gender Gap Report with a gender parity score of 79.1%. Here is Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Ladies, first of all, welcome to Malacañang Palace, and I am very, very happy to be here to preside over this oath-taking ceremony of the newly elected National Executive Board and Regional Presidents of the Lady Local Legislators League of the Philippines, or 4L Philippines. I congratulate all the new officials that will lead our efforts once again to champion and protect the rights and the welfare of women, of children, and of families. Women leaders play an indispensable role in the vital task of nation building. These roles are enshrined not only in the Constitution, but also in the legislation passed by Congress. And perhaps even more importantly, these roles are very much part of Philippine culture. I always explain to my friends from different countries that you might think that the Philippines is a macho society. The truth of the matter is we are a matriarchal society, and yung mga lalaki lang yung maiingay at saka lagi naghaharap, but the ones that are really always steady in the work of supporting our families, our communities, our children, nandyan lagi ang ating mga kababaihan. And they form the bedrock. That's why I don't know if you have heard this story before. I remember very well, late mga 70s, 80s, I was with my mother in the United States. And that was the height of the beginnings of the feminist movement. And my mother was asked, and he said, Madam First Lady, Imelda Marcos, what does the Philippines think of the feminist movement and the equality between the sexes? And my mother said, well, I have to say that if you make me equal with men in the Philippines, it's a demotion. Because we are already put up on a pedestal. We are already the ones that run the show. And it's very funny to relate and to remember, but it's really true. That's really the very best, that we really are very much in that cultural mode. Vice Gov Cecil will attest to that. For example, in Ilocos, kami yung mga di ba? Kami yung mga Ilocano, kami yung mga supposed to be the matatapang, the stoic types, etc., etc.
But in the Ilocano tradition, for example, uh, when I was governor there, pag nagbabayad kami ng sahod, hindi namin binibigay sa empleyadong lalaki. Binibigay namin sa asawa. Yung asawa ang magbibigay ng allowance doon sa lalaki. Kaya ganun talaga eh. But that really always has been the tradition and the cultural bent that has been part of the Filipino tradition. And although maybe I would not go as far as to say what my good friend once said. He reminded us of the saying that behind every great man, there is an even greater woman. Sabi niya, well, if that is the logic, the more great women behind the man, the better, di ba? Sabi ko, hindi yan siguro applicable dito sa Pilipinas. But of course, that really is the very important place that women play in our society, and it is sometimes that is why it was very easy for us when the issues of gender equality, the issues of all of these. Now that perhaps in the newer civilizations they are only starting to discover, we immediately scored very, very high in terms of that, simply because that has always been part of Filipino culture. And that is why we count very much. Again, see Vice Gov says will attest to this. When I was governor also in Ilocos Norte, of course we had the male mayors and the female mayors. And after a while, miniting ko yung mga lalaki. Sabi ko, you guys better pick up your game. Napapahiya tayo dito sa mga babae because they're doing better work. And there's very much a point to that. And that's why it is very, very, when the issues, like I said, of gender equality came up, napakadali para sa Pilipino na maunawaan yun. Dahil we all hold our mothers, our sisters, our grandmothers, our aunts in high regard. In the sense that we basically are formed by the women in our culture. And that applies to government as well. In terms of government and the parts and the roles that you play, that is still very much the case. And we are still the megaphone, the noisy ones. Kami nagpapasikat na nag-iingay. But the steady work is very much done by the women in the background. And that I think is something that I don't know any Filipino who will contradict me in those terms. So I have great hopes as officers and members of the 4L Philippines that you will continue to work for the passage of, in our work, local legislative measures that aim to improve the lives of our people, especially the vulnerable. Let's embrace your commitment to conduct fair and gender-responsive programs in your respective localities. We can broaden the growth opportunities and enhance the role of women in our society. So most importantly, create a conducive and nurturing environment for women and for girls to participate freely and equally in our political, social, and economic spheres. Baka dito lang tayo nagkakakulang, giving opportunities to young girls, to women, and not somehow exclude women from, and girls especially, as they grow up, exclude them from certain sectors of our economy, certain sectors of our society. However, that's changing very much, and I think that the Philippines is doing a good job with that. Because of, again, the recognition by Filipinos that we have a supreme asset in our ladies, that our Filipino, the girls, the young girls, the women who have been working very, very hard for our society, all throughout our national history. So moving forward, I hope to see more women in key leadership positions in the country. Be assured that this administration remains steadfast in implementing the Magna Carta of women at all levels of government. In line with this, I encourage all of you to work with us in closing the country's gender parity to improve our ranking in the Global Gender Gap Index of the World Economic Forum. We have, in fact, already achieved much in this area. In 2023, the Philippines attained a rating of 79.1% in gender parity, which ranked 16th amongst 146 countries globally. Yes, applaud yourself. That has been your achievement. Well, this distinction is something that we, and especially women, should be proud of. There remains great deal to be done to achieve our goal of gender parity. So let us aim to eradicate prejudice and discrimination against women in every facet of our society, so we can build a bagong Pilipinas that empowers women to be the best that they can be.
The 4L-Phil, an all-women organization, consists of incumbent officials from local government units across the country. The organization aims to promote responsive and effective legislative measures in all localities, anchored in a mutual passion for a just, peaceful, and humane society. It also pushes for policies and programs that benefit communities from all regions, especially focusing on the rights and welfare of women, children, and Filipino families.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. directed the El Nino Task Force to make sure that there will be steady water and power supply throughout the weather phenomenon. President Marcos gave the directive in a meeting with key officials from concerned agencies at the State Dining Room of the Malacañang Palace in Manila. In a separate statement, Communications Secretary Cheloy Garafil said Marcos ordered the task force to consolidate all measures to mitigate the impacts of El Nino, which is expected to persist until the end of the second quarter of 2024. Garafil said Marcos wants a massive information campaign that would remind the public to conserve resources. Garafil added that President Marcos also ordered to intensify efforts and ensure timely release of assistance to affected areas. During the meeting, Defense Secretary Gilberto Chodoro Jr. presented a National Action Plan for El Nino, which contains a comprehensive strategy covering water security, food security, energy security, health security, and public safety. Teodoro also introduced the National El Nino Online Platform, or NOP, based on a statement posted on the official Facebook page of State-Run Radio Television Malacañang, or RTVM. According to RTVM's Facebook post, the NOP is a database designed to facilitate the development of well-informed, data-driven plans and programs to combat the effects of El Nino. Science and Technology Secretary Renato Solidum said around 65 provinces, or 77% of the total provinces of the country, are forecast to experience drought by the end of May 2024, while at least 6 provinces may experience a dry spell.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. said headlines for the consolidation of public utility vehicles, or PUV, operators and drivers stays. Adhering to the current timeline ensures that everyone can reap the benefits of the full operationalization of the modernized public transport system. President Marcos posted on X following his meeting with transport officials. President Marcos noted that to date, around 70% of all operators operators have already committed to and consolidated under the PUV Modernization Program, or PUVMP. He said a consolidation of PUVs would push through for the benefit of the country amid plans to modernize the public transport system. Under the PUVMP, operators and drivers will be organized into cooperatives or corporations to ensure the efficiency of its operations with an upgraded fleet of low-carbon emission, safe, and efficient PUV units. In November, transport groups Piston or pagkakaisa ng mga samahan ng tsuper at operator nationwide and Manibela or Malayang Alyansa ng bus employees at laborers para sa karapatan sa paggawa held separate transport strikes to protest the consolidation deadline and other aspects of the PUVMP. The Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, or LTFRB, engaged the two transport groups in a dialogue that resulted in waiving penalties for PUV drivers and operators, extending the validity of a franchise to 5 years and changing or removing some provisions in the omnibus franchising guidelines under the PUVMP. The LTFRB and the Department of Transportation, however, are adamant on the consolidation deadline as it is non-negotiable. Piston posted on Facebook that it will lead another transport strike on December 14 and 15 as it continued to call for the scrapping of the December 31 deadline and the complete removal of the mandatory franchise consolidation and the entire PUVMP.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has declared December 26 a special non-working day to give the Filipino people more time to celebrate the Christmas season with their families and loved ones. The declaration of 26 December 2023, which is a Tuesday, as an additional special non-working day will give the people the full opportunity to celebrate the holiday with their families and loved ones, President Marcos said in a proclamation for 25 inked on Tuesday. Based on the proclamation, a longer weekend will also promote domestic tourism. Proclamation 425 read, a longer weekend will encourage families to get together and strengthen their relationship, leading to a better society. The Philippine Department of Labor and Employment, or DOLE, is directed to issue the appropriate circular to implement the proclamation for the private sector.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippine Presidential Communications Office, or PCO, vowed to fight fake news through the holding of campus caravans nationwide. Citing a survey, PCO Secretary Cheloy Garafil said the youth are among the number one consumers of social media, where fake news proliferates, making them vulnerable to disinformation. Garafil visited the booths of PCO's attached agencies, including the Philippine News Agency, at the second leg of the Community Campus Caravan at the Polytechnic University of the Philippines, or PUP, in Santa Mesa, Manila. Bringing the media and information literacy campaign to the universities is crucial in curbing misinformation and disinformation. In the next few months, the PCO will bring the campus caravan to other schools and universities nationwide, expanding its reach and advocacy to combat misinformation. The caravan, which held its inaugural on December 5 at Lyceum University of the Philippines in Intramuros, Manila, aims to empower students in navigating the modern media landscape. PUP students joined information literacy training, creative contests and games, panel discussions, Concerto sa Palasyo or concert at the Palace, and broadcasting editions and internship information booths. Steven Limbawe, a senior high school student, said he enjoyed the activities, specifically those that held broadcasting auditions. Senior journalism student Julian Bartolome said she gained additional knowledge relevant to her career path.
Dateline Malacañang.
Finally, for Dateline Malacañang, the Philippine government has firmly asked China to stop lingering in waters around the Ayungin Shoal, the Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, said after summoning Chinese Ambassador Wang Shilian. The DFA said it summoned Wang on Monday to convey Manila's strongest protest against the Chinese forces' aggressive and harassing actions in the West Philippine Sea over the weekend. DFA Undersecretary Maria Teresa Lazaro verbally delivered the protest over the dangerous maneuvers of Chinese vessel that led to collision, illegal shadowing, and undue use of water cannons during the country's rotation and resupply mission to Ayungin Shoal. The DFA said it reiterated to Huang that Ayungin Shoal is not an island but a low tide elevation within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, or EEZ, and continental shelf. Lazaro also emphasized that the Philippines' resupply missions to BRP Sierra Madre are part of the country's regular operations, are in line with domestic and international law. She emphasized that China has no right to interfere with the Philippines' legitimate activities in the Philippines' own EEZ, including in the waters around Ayungin Shoal. The actions of the Chinese vessels within the Philippines or EEZ are illegal and violates the freedom of navigation, the department said. The DFA said China should comply with its obligations under international law, including the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, the 2016 award in the South China Sea Arbitration, and the 1972 Convention on the International Regulations for Preventing Collision at Sea. It also called on China to adhere to its commitments under the 2002 ASEAN-China Declaration on the Conduct of Parties in the South China Sea, or DOC. In addition, the DFA conveyed Manila's strong protests against China's dangerous maneuvers and use of water cannons against 3 Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, or BIFAR, vessels, the Datu Sanday, Datu Bangkao, and Datu Tamblot. The DFA lamented that it was a humanitarian and support mission to provide fuel and grocery packages to Filipino fisher folk who are only trying to fish in their traditional fishing ground of Bajo de Masinloc. The same messages were likewise conveyed by the DFA and the Philippine Embassy in Beijing to the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs the previous day.
Dateline Malacañang.
And that is all for today's Dateline Malacañang. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this has been Bea Gaza.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.